Other interesting cultural news, you have Bud Light now falling to third place for the best-selling beer in the US. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Never forget the brainchild, well, mentally vacuous, more accurately put, Alyssa Heiderchild, who's the VP of Marketing at Anheuser-Busch InBev, who, ironically, she used to have a LinkedIn profile where she bombastically bragged about being the first female marketing executive at the company. Didn't exactly make him look good now. She thought it was a good idea to spend $185,000 to have Dylan Mulvaney as a brand ambassador, celebrate Dylan Mulvaney's 365 Day of Womanhood, and in return, they lost $1.4 billion of sales in about a year, which it's almost unfathomable from a business blunder of the century. With perhaps, I mean, there are business blunders that take businesses and they actually make them extinct by going bankrupt. But in terms of kneecapping a business, I can't fathom anything worse than that. And let me know in the comments if you think of anything. It was a huge cultural phenomenon. A lot of people were not happy with the fact that Dylan Mulvaney, very controversial individual who was, a lot of people just say, pretending to be a woman, never got the surgery, which is a controversy even in the trans community. But Dylan dressed up as a woman, and a lot of people were comparing it to woman face, and went viral. And companies were giving this individual millions of dollars to, like, I mean, Dylan Mulvaney was making millions of dollars being a brand ambassador for tampons and makeup. I'm not kidding. Very successful, fiscally speaking. And social media rewarded this individual. I mean, went viral, got millions of followers, especially on the Instagram. Yeah, and Bud Light did not understand the core values of their business or their customers. And again, another big controversy. Dylan Mulvaney's average audience member is about 15 years old on the TikTok. Which, again, in the United States, they cannot buy beer at that age, which makes no sense. Why would you use this person to advertise your product? But the market did speak, and their stock lost billions of dollars, and the sales lost billions of dollars as well. It was number one beer for about 20 years in a row. Then Modelo outdid them. In the United States, Modelo is owned by Constellation Brands out of New York. Internationally, yes, Modelo is then owned by Anheuser-Busch InBev. Now, it looks like things have gotten even worse. Now, this comes to us thanks to CNN by Jordan Valinsky over there. They say, quote, Bud Light loses more ground, now slipping to number 3 beer in America. There you can see one of the iconic blue Bud Light cans. They say, quote, Bud Light, formerly the top-selling beer in North America, has a tough year since the boycott upended the industry. It's getting worse. Now brand is fallen to third place. Michelob Ultra, which, again, is also owned by a company, leapfrogged Bud Light to become the second best-selling beer at grocery convenience stores during the crucial sales period stretching Memorial Day to July 4th holiday, according to NIQ data shared by industry trade publication Beer Marketer Insights. Modelo Especial, made by rival Constellation Brands, remains the second of the top-selling beer as retailers in the U.S. after surpassing Bud Light last year. Which, yeah, Michelob Ultra is such a niche brand. When I was growing up, like, I only knew it because they sponsored races for like half marathons and marathons, like, which actually was how I got my first legal beer. I crossed the finish line and got one of their beers, and at the time it tastes all right. But like, again, anecdotally speaking, I was the only person in my friend group who actually had one of those when we went to like a restaurant. People were having beers. Like, that was the only. So I'm especially fascinated that Michelob Ultra is surpassing Bud Light sales, which also shows how bad Bud Light sales are to begin with. They say, quote, in the past 4 weeks, ending July 6th, Bud Light captured 6.5% of marketing dollar sales at retail stores compared to 7.3% for Michelob Ultra, while Modelo maintained the top share at 9.7%. Wow, that is awful. And this is with Bud Light spending millions of dollars on marketing. They're buying off some of the top comedians. They got their name plastered logo plastered all over the UFC with I think it was like $100 million agreement or brand sponsorship with them. I mean, there's never been spending more on marketing, and yet it still isn't really helping them. I mean, what the former CIA operative Brendan Whitworth, current CEO of the company, should have done is just come out day one and said, "Hey, we made a mistake. I let the marketing gal go too far. He thought, again, this woman was so mentally vacuous. She literally said, our beer has a fratty image, so we don't want that." Which, again, insulted the core customer base, and people she was trying to appeal to don't really buy their product to begin with on average. Which, again, is why their sales crashed so miserably. And from a cultural perspective, I mean, boycott is perhaps the most well-known successful boycott in history from the conservative perspective. I would also argue a lot of my libertarian friends also participated in the boycott as well. Now, not to brag, but I've been boycotting Bud Light for almost a decade since I don't buy craft beer. Even when I have people on the podcast, or the interview podcast, I'll buy, what do I buy? Well, And truth be told, I like to buy family owned, so I end up buying Yangling, which I do thank Bud Light for. If I didn't, I mean, if it wasn't for this book, I really never would have heard of Yangling, which again is the oldest brewery in the United States and still family owned. That's awesome. I support that, 7 days a week. So when people do want a refreshment when they're on the interview podcast or hanging out or have my team over for work, yeah, I'll make sure I got a fridge packed with that. And yeah, their sales have not increased at all with Bud Light, and I don't think they're ever going to regain them. They could have recovered. We've seen it happen before. It's not like a theory. It's happened. I mean, there are many brands who came up and said, "Hey, we made a mistake. We disrespected our customers. We didn't understand the market. We messed up. We're not going to do it again. We're going to pivot back. We're going to do our good old tried and true strategy." Bud Light never did that. I'm not saying they would recover 100% of their sales, but again, they lost 30% Bud Light sales like that. I mean, I think they could have gained back at least 10 of that 30%. But now, to this day, they still are a pariah. I've seen 2 people order Bud Light in the past year now when it comes to like social events and work events. And I'm not saying we shunned them out, but like, they got a little weird look. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? This is an open tab for a work event. Why would you choose that? Good God, what's wrong with you? Do you have no taste buds? But I partially digress. Let me know, have you ever seen anyone buy a Bud Light in the past year? I mean, do you even think it tastes good? Let me know in the comments. As always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.